everybody on here and taking a little walk out where I am, hanging out in Indiana for 2 nights, which is awesome. Have this beautiful little country area that I'm in, which is just a gift after being on the road for 4 months. And yes, I'm still touring. I'm just finishing that out. You might notice my voice is a little bit off, so I had to still get the video out. But I have a thing that happens where I live with chronic compacted sinuses, and 1 or 2 times a year those sinuses just unload on me, so then it affects my voice and things like that a little bit. But I'm all good, no illness or anything like that, just a little funky voice right now and a little congestion, but other than that, all good. So this month in the video, what I wanted to talk about was, and you're going on a walk with me, I'm taking a walk at the same time I'm doing this today. I want to talk about something that I hear from people a lot, which is, why do I get attacked when I make successes? And this is something I deal with even regularly in my life, but it also connects with some really strong patterns that we have coming up in November in the codes, in our monthly codes. And this is going to be really present for us. This is a pattern that a lot of people just kind of get puzzled by. They think, well, if I've done something good in the world, if I've created some good successes, why would bad things happen? Well, first of all, they're not necessarily bad things. They just feel a little rough sometimes. These sort of what we call attacks, or what is known in codes as an assassination pattern. And assassination patterns can come up in a lot of different forms. They can come up in an aspect of literal, physical assassinations. They can come up in the sense of attacks on ourselves, attacks on people or things that we love, animals in our life. Assassination patterns can come up verbally. It can be verbal abuse, verbal attacks, critiques. It can come up in the spiritual realms. So like when you lay down at night and you're having dreams, and then it could come up where you have these challenges or battles that show up in your dreams. So it can really manifest in a lot of different ways. But with this pattern, when we are dealing with it from a code perspective, it's really kind of an affirmation that we have made some kind of huge progress, huge leap in things for the divine, or for God, or for just progressing, having divine presence in our world. So I look at it now not so much as a bad thing, but as an affirmation. An affirmation that I'm on the right track. And I know that in a lot of the truther community, things like that, people have gotten to a point where they see assassination energy as an accolade, and they wear it like a merit badge. And I get the concept behind that, but at the same time, I don't think that that's something that we should be striving for necessarily, is all of that. We just want to be able to recognize it, deal with it, not get sucked into it along the way. And I want to just share a little bit from the aspect of success in codes. If we look at that, let me think for just a second here. Success in codes is where we're operating responsibly. It's where we are doing the things that we need to get done, taking care of what needs to be handled in life. Successes in the plural sense is really an indication of where we have learned from our path and where we're paving the way to a favorable future. So when you consider that in the sense of assassination energy, that assassin's really trying to block that. It's trying to block you from being able to do what needs to be done. It's trying to keep you from moving forward in a favorable direction. It's an interference. It's an interruption, basically, is what it is. When we look at assassin in the sense of codes, we then have an aspect that is about bringing things into divine service, bringing things into doing them for the sake of doing them because it's a good thing to do and not just because we're required to do it. It's about getting us to pause and look about where we are and are not in alignment. So the assassin can actually be an asset for reflection if we use it that way, which is pretty amazing and pretty powerful if you want to consider that. Why does the assassination energy come up? Why, when we make the success, does it get activated? Well, mostly because it lives in fear. It lives in anxiety. It lives in a world that success is for the divine is not a good thing for it in many ways, because that eventually means it has to change, it has to adjust, it may not survive because it's not living in divine energy. And divine energy resonates at a pattern that it doesn't really exist in. So it's no wonder it's a survival instinct is really what it is. And most people have that. Most people, if they feel threatened, if they feel worried, if they feel like they're going to be removed, that they will go into that survival mode. And that's really kind of what the assassin energy is about. It's about that survival aspect. But what it's really trying to do is to generate a blockage. It's really trying to create this interference. It's really trying to get us, when we're on that path of success, to stop and not go down that path. It's trying to create fear. It's trying to create hate. It's trying to create separation. So if it can be successful at that, creating the division within ourselves, division from God or divine presence, division from other people, if it can get us to hate, even if we're hating it, and I talked about this in last month's video, then it succeeds. Because then it starts to bring us down an unfavorable path. It locks us into lessons that we haven't learned, things that we haven't gotten past, things that maybe we haven't mastered. So that has a lot to do, and I just want to make sure I'm good at getting it. But it then opens the door to where it can create a detrimental future instead of a positive one. And in these times, I think it's really important for us to keep this in mind, for us to look at these things, for us to consider that energy and to realize that we have to hold strong. When we are making successes for God and divine energy, divine presence in the world, we have to hold strong, even when things come at us, even when they're challenging us. And we don't want to be afraid of the assassin energy. There really isn't necessarily a reason to be afraid of it. And the more that we do understand that it's working from this survival instinct aspect, then the more that we can realize that, yeah, this is a very useful thing. It's a very helpful thing. For again, helping us to realize where we are and are not engaged in divine alignment. So I just say keep that in mind. Don't fall off into the worry or the anxiety, and don't feel like you need to wear it as a merit badge and go out and do things just to get it to attack you. Just stay focused on the successes. Just stay focused on opening up that divine presence and embrace the successes, embrace the rapid advancement. And we're going to be seeing that in November. We're going to be seeing a lot of that coming up. And we just want to hang on to that kind of idea and that concept, because there are going to be rapid advancements, but rapid advancements also will mean turmoil for those that are in corruption losing their power. It will, they're the ones that are going to stir up trouble. They're going to take that assassin role. And so it's that kind of bittersweetness that came with this last lunar energy that we just had a couple of days ago. And we have to embrace that. It's about staying focused on where we're headed, not where we've been, just learning from where we've been, and not letting those challenges distract us from making the choices that we need to make or doing the things that we need to do. And I'm the first one that will tell you that's not an easy process sometimes. I mean, people look at me, and I've buckled down on this trip for 4 months, going on 4.5 months now, traveling the U.S., and it hasn't been an easy journey. I've had a lot of things come up to try to take me down, to victimize me, to break me in the process, and throw me off schedule and get me angry and all of those things. But I don't go there. I don't allow it. I see it, I deal with it, I take hold, and I say, that's it. I'm moving forward. There's nothing that you're going to do to stop me from continuing to move forward in this work. And that's the place we want to stand in, because when we stand there, we're standing in our own divinity. And when we're standing in our own divinity, we've got the best protection that we can ever have. And that is powerful. But as always, use discernment. Know when you're standing in that divinity, know when you're standing strong, and know when you need to adjust course. So that's it for this month. That's why when we have these successes, that we also see the attacks. We also see the other things that come forward and happen and come along the way. So I am, even though I'm going to have things that I need to get done, and like posting this video and things like that, I am going to enjoy this countryside a little bit. I'm going to try to unwind for a little bit, rest up for a day if I can do it. And I will be back with you next month. I'm so glad to be able to record this outside. And I imagine the next one that I record, there's a good chance I'm going to be back in Maine, back in my homeland, so to say. And who knows, I'll probably at least be in winter gear, because they've been kind of cold for a while. They haven't warmed back up. So that's kind of where it's at. And I will see you guys next month. Take care, everybody.